Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life Living Intentionally by Faith with Expectation. I am Kimmy M. Dinkins. That's right, KMD. You know the song said, "You know me." I'm just KMD. So, welcome tonight. Just so glad to be here, glad to be present. Glad to be able to take advantage of the breath in my body. What about you? So important when we know that we are living in some real crucial times, right? Dealing with some real serious issues. And just want to just share with you tonight on a topic that kind of had arrested me, really arrested me last week because I wasn't able to share, but I wanted to be sure that I was able to share tonight. And I'm just so pensive about my life and where I am and where I know I need to be. Because right now, if you don't take advantage of the time, if you don't do all you can with the time that you have, then I don't know, you might not even get the time. It's just so serious. It's real serious like that, that we take advantage of really where we are, take advantage of the time that we have allotted to us and make it work favorably toward us. Favorably. And so, this is life. This is my creation, a show I've been working on, trying to perfect it, getting it to a place where it gets better and better. And that is my hope and my dream. My dream. That's my dream, my hope. And tonight, before I get started, I want to make mention of those who are definitely still struggling with the COVID situation. I want to lift up my cousin, who is definitely getting better and better every day. His name is Jerome, and I just know a lot about him. And I just thank God for the fight. It is a fight for your faith. And so, not just him, but so many people right now who are out there who are just battling, just battling to be in a particular place. So let us not forget to say our prayers. Let us be sensitive to others, because we don't know who's next. We have no idea. We pray, we believe God, we trust God, because that is the way to go. But we have to be ye ready at all times. So tonight I want to talk about the power of no. Rejection. 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 Is that an ugly word? Or is it a powerful word, depending on how you use it? What do you think about it? And tonight, for all of you who are pretty short, I'm probably going to be kind of long, just FYI for your information. So, I posted last week very intimately how most of my younger life, I was teased about my weight. I was teased about being bigger, heavy, um, about having short hair. Mm-hmm. And about what else? Just overall, little tummy. I wish I had brought my pictures. I forgot to bring my pictures, but I got teased because I always lived in the shadow of my sister, and I got teased. I got all kind of teases, and I did not know what to do with that. So I suppressed that. I tucked it under. I just kind of hid it inside of me. And a lot of people do that. And that was not good. But I did. I did because I did not know what to do with it. Being a kid, and when it comes from adults, that's really bad. When it comes from kids, it's terrorizing, right? When it comes from adults, it's traumatizing. And so I grew up, and then as I got older, when I just didn't think things would get any worse, then I started experiencing this same type of rejection on an adult level in terms of my desire to choose particular careers. I thought, really? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? And guess what? No, they were serious. They weren't kidding. I thought, this is crazy. But I learned. hmm I learned. I learned real quick. I woke up quick. And shall I say quick? Maybe not so quick as I needed to, or quick as I really felt I should have, but I woke up. And I started to realize that I had a couple of choices in the matter. I could be a victim. I could play the victim and say, woe is me, picking on me, won't leave me alone, making fun of me. Yeah. hmm I thought about that, but that really didn't work for me. It didn't work for many reasons, and I'll share. And so I decided that I'm going to survive it. And not only am I going to survive it, but I promise you I will thrive in it. I will. Because, see, being rejected is someone's inability to accept something or someone. And I came to the realization that people did not accept, like what they saw in me. They could not accept that it was not what they thought was beauty or perfection, which was, as a child, you don't understand it. I didn't understand it. I didn't really know initially why, but then I began to understand that we have created these ideas and we create all these things in our mind, and we have expectations of people, and we don't tell them what they are, but we do. And when they don't fulfill them, we show how we feel by either rejecting or criticizing or coming in a way that can hurt them, can put, make them feel less than. And I experienced a lot of that, and I learned how to just stuff it. Yeah, I would hold my breath, just suck it in, take it in. And I'm telling you, I was never small enough, never pretty enough. My hair was never long enough. And the worst thing was, rejection can come four ways. You can experience rejection on several levels. And so the one thing that I dealt with a lot was being ignored. People don't see you. I mastered being invisible. And I dealt with people not seeing me. Yes, I did. I don't know. I think I got perfected that thing real good. And I just, you be kind to people, because my mother always told me, be kind to people, be loving, be smart, be smart, be nice, be kind. And I would be kind and nice to people, but I just could never make that connection. The connection didn't come, it didn't come like I thought, because I wasn't like the type or the kind. So, I didn't fit their mold. I didn't fit in. And that's one form of being rejected. You don't fit. You're not part of the group. That is deep. Yeah. Because when you deal with it as a child and it grows up into your adult situation, then you keep perpetuating that same thing, because either you're doing it to someone or they're doing it to you. And so I dealt with it. Being ignored can hurt. How about that? That can be very, very painful. And I just, it made me feel really bad. I felt bad about a lot of things. I felt bad about myself. I started looking at myself saying, wow, what should I do? Because as a child, you don't know, you don't quite get it. But then I started really getting it, because it started happening a lot. hmm a whole lot. And I got very clear. And it just started working on me mentally. It just started working on me. And it became something I thought about a lot. And probably after something works on you for such a period, a long period of time, then you yourself start to add stuff and insert stuff that's probably not really there. I know it gets weird, but it does happen, and it happened to me like that. And so, I just didn't know what to do with that being ignored. And then people start being blunt, just would say things like, no, no, didn't I don't want to talk to you. I'm not. I don't want to deal with this or deal with that, or when you start liking boys and they said her, oh Lord, no. So I went through all of those things of being teased, getting a sharp nose. At least when you get a sharp nose, it's final. Hey, they mean business. They said what they meant, and they meant what they said, and that's okay too, because it does happen. It does happen. And so I didn't really know how to do it, but I learned that I had to start stepping back from feelings because I was all immersed into my feelings. You ever been immersed into how you feel? Got all immersed into my feelings, and that really didn't work because it didn't help solve anything. It just kind of, exacerbated the problem. And so because I couldn't get out of my feelings, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to handle myself. And so my worth, the way I saw myself, just started plummeting. Start going, anybody like that? They're plummeting because they're so wanting to be accepted. They're so wanting to be loved by people who won't love them. They want to be accepted by people who won't accept them, who keep rejecting them, and they're willing to go through any length to any measure to receive that love, to get that love, to have people like them. Woo, that's hard, but it does happen. Oh yes, it does happen. And then, you can also get the type of rejection that is nice. Have you been rejected in a nice way? Have you ever? And they call it constructive criticism. So it's not necessarily rejection, but in a sense, it's a polite no. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You let me give you one example. Applying for a job and you don't get it. And they write you a nice little letter saying no. Because at the end of the day, that's what it means. Or I'll never forget, I was talking to a guy one time. I said, you're such a good friend. And I was just being very transparent that, I thought it was nice. And easily he said, yeah, and you a nice girl too, and a nice friend. In other words, no. But you know what? I should have sent him a letter. Thank you. You helped me. As grandma said, you helped me. Thank you for that. Because sometimes when people tell you no, they're not telling you no. They're saying no to something else. And I learned over time that man's rejection in my life has been God's protection. So God was keeping me. Yeah, I can't talk about my life unless I talk about God because I wouldn't have made it without that divine inspiration, without that power, that keeping power that has held me firm because I had to learn. Hmm. Yeah. And so you'll get a polite no. And when I started getting the polite no's and I kind of got an understanding, I thought, well, they were nice about it. Hmm. But they didn't know my history, see, that I had other no's that weren't so nice. But they were nice about it, kind about it. But it still just kind of hurt. But I learned that you're going to have some no's in your life. You're going to get rejected. You're not going to be accepted. Everybody can't accept you. Everybody won't like you. Everybody won't think that you're for them or they're for you. And it's okay. But the last no is when people tell you no and it's a way for you to grow. No to grow. No, because this is what needs to happen. At this point, you could work on A, B, C, or D. Now, that could be also considered constructive, but I like it more because it tells me what I can fix to help myself. And the one thing I'll never forget, my mother would always say, she would say, work with what you have, work on what you have, fix what you have, and make it work for you. And I learned how to make what I had work for me because it was for me. And so, what happened to me in those early years is that I became defensive. I played the defense. I didn't know how to be on the offense because I didn't know what was going to be said that I didn't like that was going to insult me, hurt me, or would be another form of rejection that I didn't want to deal with, or somebody's opinion about me that I had learned not to care about anymore. And so I had a very sharp tongue. And let me tell you, I was Johnny on the spot because when you came for me, I had some for you too. I had a way of letting you know, no, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not putting up with this. And you're not going to say that or this to me. And I had to learn. I really had to learn. And so I learned a whole lot. I learned a lot about me. I learned about what made me angry. See, when you hold your anger in, that's suppression. I became very passive aggressive. So, when you become very passive aggressive, you're just like a time bomb. You're waiting. You're just waiting to go off. You're just waiting to tick. You're just waiting. That's a time bomb. And so I had to realize that that's not the way I want to be. That's not the way I want to be. And I've seen so many people, because of being rejected and because of being passive aggressive, they have reached out to other things that they thought would heal their hurt or heal their pain: drugs, alcohol, being promiscuous, getting in groups that they feel would make them feel better about themselves, having wrong associations, and just those mild rejections hurt people sometimes so bad that they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle their problems. So they look for other ways and means, and sometimes it'll lead them down a trail that is destructive, basically self-destructive. And I've seen a lot of people self-destruct. So, I just thank God that I didn't take that route. I'm thankful that I didn't go that way. I'm just glad that I saw within myself that I had turned my aggression inwardly, and that I had to find a way to get on the offense and not play the defense. Rejection really can damage your mood and the opinion that you have of yourself. When I ask people, what do you think of yourself? And when they go, I know, I know that there's been some trauma, and I know they've had some drama, because when you don't know what you think of yourself, I don't either. And so when I look back at what happened to me and how it made me so angry, and how it did something inside of me, and I could see what it was doing. It was tearing me apart. It was working on making me bitter. But I said, not so. I'm not going to be bitter. I'm going to be better. And that's when I started making that turn, because the infliction of the pain that I was putting, that what I was packing inside of me was tearing me apart. And the people who had made the comments, they had moved on, they were living, they were enjoying life. They didn't think no more about what they said, because they were just thinking out the top of their brain, saying whatever they felt, not considering how it made me feel. And I realized, why do I care what they think? Why do I care how they feel? I don't. It doesn't matter, because it's not my issue, it's theirs. It's theirs. And so when you realize that every no is not a rejection of you, it's a rejection of something that this other person may fear or don't like, don't can't manage, don't want it to be about them, or can't perceive as part of their circle, their walk, their life, it has nothing to do with you directly. You're just the indirect object in the situation. And when I realized that if I start trying to live my life based on what people thought and how they felt, where am I going to be? Because people change their minds all the time. And they don't like things about you all the time. But you know what? You know what? I learned how to like everything about myself, because I realized if I like it, they'll learn to like it. And that just rocked my world. So I said, you know what? I tell you what, I can thrive in this, because if all of this mess in my life that was working to destroy me, to make me not like myself, to make me look down on myself, to make me think I cannot do something, or I cannot be, or I'm not good enough. That's what it works on, your opinion of yourself, who you can't be. Rejection is demonic, it's evil, it's wicked. If you let it work in you to destroy you. But when you take it and turn it around and you let it make you, because surely if you trust God, it will not break you, then you can be exactly who you have been called to be. And that's exactly what happened. You see, I just realized that, hey, there is someone bigger than me, greater than me, and that's God. And you know what God did? He took all of my mess and he gave me a message. I said, God, thank you. Thank you. Because I don't have to live on the defense. because I have a great offense. And it's not about what people think about me. It's about what I think about myself. It's not about what people call me. It's about what I answer to. That's what's most important. I said, wow, this is what I'm talking about. So it's about thriving. See, I remembered a great story from one of my better books. You know, my better books, the book I love. And that's the book of Genesis, chapter 50 and 20. When Joseph, he had that dream. He had a dream of who he would be. God showed him who he was. But his brothers got jealous. Got jealous. And they took him off to get rid of him. And thank God they didn't kill him. They dumped him. Remember that coat of many colors? Huh, that Sharon got that guy in a lot of trouble. But I remember the words he used in chapter 50. He said, you intended to harm me, but God intended it to accomplish what is being done now, the saving of many lives. You've heard people say it like this: what the devil meant for evil, God turned it around for the good. And I just look and I think, you know what? All of those things that were happening to me, they were happening for the good. It was all training. It was all for my growth. It was all for my development. Because you know what I learned? I learned that I don't have to react. I can be proactive. Because I had a realization about others is that you don't live for them. You live unto the Lord and you live for what you've been called to do for yourself. And when I got that realization, then I had a reality check about life and about how that works. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe what God has called you to do. You got to trust God. You got to trust the one that's bigger than you. And you've got to love yourself. You've got to love everything about yourself. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And that don't mean ugly looks. That just means sometimes we have a tendency to get out of our character because we are poured or lured, if we're not careful, by others who are always out of their character. And so I said, wow. So I learned to be a resource for solving problems. I learned how to protect myself and how to represent myself. I learned how to manage my emotions, and I didn't let my emotions manage me because, see, that whirlwind of rejection had me on a roller coaster. And if I had not been careful, I would have been an emotional wreck. But no, I didn't become an emotional wreck. I became an emotional success because I learned how to manage my emotions and not let my emotions manage me. I learned how not to make excuses. I learned how to make it happen. Why? Because I had rejection, advanced level. Hello? So what can you say to me? Nothing much. Nothing much. Because I have heard so much. Nothing much. See, I heard this lady say this. Her name is Gotham. She said, you're qualified to conquer. I said, I think I'm qualified to conquer after that. See, no situation in my life can break me because the situation and no person in my life can break me because the person didn't make me. God made me. He called me. He qualified me. So when I look at myself, I see who I truly am because it's about the power I know I possess. And it's about the discipline and control I use in my life. So when it comes to rejection, it is the power that I have used to turn my life around, to make building blocks and bridges across all of those places where people tried to stab, tried to cut, tried to dig, tried to stick. I said, oh, really? Let me just take that knife out for you, hon, because it ain't working. It's not going to work. You either love it or leave it. You either like it or don't. Yeah. And that's who we have to be. You got to let people like it or leave it. Because people are, my favorite quote, they're only in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I do believe when they start walking, bye, see you later. Take care. Why? Because you don't want to hold on to somebody who don't want to hold on to you. But one thing about authenticity, remember this, when it's real, when it's authentic, it will last. It will last. It will last. Real love don't fade. It endures. And so when you look at your life, I remember the story of Paul, from my favorite little book. Yes. When he was stricken with an affliction that he felt was so unbearable. And sometimes I've had situations I can remember from the past, and even now, occasionally I have some situations that seem extra tough. And he just was like, oh, God, this is tough. This is hard, in my paraphrase. And what God replied to him was this. He says, my grace is sufficient for you. My favor is sufficient because my power is strong in your weakness. So I found out what my power was. My power was in God, because where he is strong, well, he is strong where I am weak. And I say to you, and I say to all of you, people may have rejected you in the beginning, but the question is, can you accept yourself in the end? Because remember, the stone that the builders rejected is now the chief cornerstone holding everything together. So you never have to worry about what people say, because people change their mind all the time. But what you better be concerned about is what you believe about yourself. And in the words of Les Brown, I always like to quote this. He says, if there is no enemy within, he said, the enemy outside of you can do you no harm. Who can touch you? Who can move you? Who can beat you? No one. No one. You just got to believe, and you got to know who you are. You got to know whose you are. And when you know that, let me tell you, it's not about the gender. It's not about people's opinion. It's not about what they think. It's about what you believe. And when you can take that type of rejection and let it be fuel for the future, and let it be your fuel for completion, let it be your energy, your tenacity, the unstoppable force in you that says, I don't know the word no. I only know the word yes. I don't hear your no, because your rejection is all my protection from God. So let me tell you something. Woo, ain't nothing you can say. I've heard a lot. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Teflon is tough. Mm-hmm. Unstoppable, relentless. That's the kind of drive that all of my rejection put in me. And I learned that the only person that's going to stop me, if not God, it's going to be me. And guess what? That's not going to happen. So listen, everybody. If you know someone that's having a hard time accepting themselves, just ask them something. What is it that's so important about what the other person has said that they give so much power and meaning to it? You have to own your power. You have to know thyself. And then you have to be true to thine own self. Listen, everybody. I've said a lot. I said a lot. I ain't going to say I said enough, but I've said a lot. And I just wanted to share that with you tonight, because I know that there are many people who are being rejected, who feel rejected, who don't feel accepted. And they're looking for someone to rescue them. Mm-mm. The person that's going to rescue you is in you. That person is in you. Remember, I said that. God be with you. God bless you. Have a great night. I pray you've been inspired. And don't be afraid to like. Don't be afraid to share. Because guess what? When you know how to turn the power of no into your power, you are unstoppable. Listen, have a great night, everybody. Take care of yourself. If you need to chat, send me a direct message. God bless.